All right, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a election day, a real pivotal election for the world. The rest of the world looks to the U.S., so it's going to be interesting to see how the U.S. responds with the election between Trump and Biden. It is November 3rd. Happy birthday to all our November babies. This video here is I wanted to record it so I can put it on YouTube and later keep it in the library because this is a more educational video here. The purpose of it is centered around um, people not fully understanding what we do, not understanding what it's going to take to turn neighborhoods around and stop all the shooting and killing. So I'm hoping with this video, and I need to keep it under 20 minutes, you'll walk away with a better understanding, better grasp on what needs to take place in urban America to stop the bloodshed. And I think we're in a pretty good position to give this perspective since we've been out here for over 2 decades. So let's get at it. So I reach out to people and talk to people every single day because of the structure that we already have, National Block Club University. Uh, every person that we call, every interaction that we have with people it fits into the structure that we have. So Chicago has 20 zip codes. Our philosophy with the zip codes is anybody in the zip code that's doing good, that is trying to help and move things forward, we want to meet with them and work with them. And so that's our philosophy. All the troublemakers and people causing havoc, we want to help hold them accountable. So that's kind of the bigger picture. So I've recently reached out to a few people who have historically donated their $1 a month, $12 a year to us. And one of them is in construction. We've been able to send a roofing job to them and a few other jobs to them. And this person, because of our structure, every fourth Monday of the month is when I reach out and just touch bases with him. And just this last October, fourth Monday, I reached out to him and he said, Side, I've been rolling with you for almost, 10 years, man, and I just don't see things moving forward. He said, you stay in touch. You're excellent at staying in touch, but I don't see you doing nothing. I said, wow. Now the roofing job got him at least $10,000. Sent him other jobs too. So I said, let me say this to you, and this is the message to you guys. I say, I'm a military man, and let me say it this way for you. You had to know how to move without the ball. That's from a basketball perspective. And you also have to know how to help people without them necessarily knowing that you're helping them. Because some people will refuse to help just because of pride and ego. And Navy, so when you go to save someone that's drowning, typically you go and you rescue them from behind. You don't come at them frontal because, again, they can drown you with you trying to save them. And the point here is this: when people think about stopping the violence, doing something, as this person says, so I don't see you doing nothing. We just talk, you know, little do he know, and I did educate him from my perspective, little did he know, one of the big things you want to do in any relationship, interaction with each other, is have an open line of communication. People can lose wars without the right amount of communication. And I explained to him, while you are looking for the traditional emotional response to anti-violence, we're having a greater impact on anti-violence. So let me explain it to you. Any crime involves three ingredients. Any crime, and that includes violence, three ingredients: intent, capability, and opportunity. Those three things, right? So the key for us when we talk about what is it going to take to stop the violence, one way is to look at what is not going to be done to stop the violence. So what's not going to be done to stop the violence is prayer vigils. If so, we would have stopped the violence a long time ago. So if he want us to go out there and pray in order for him to feel like we're doing something, that's not our cup of tea. Marches, it's not going to stop the violence. If you want us to go out there and march, it's not going to work for us because that's not what we do as well. Rallies, that gets you emotionally charged up. Everyone is saying the same thing. You're feeling like you're not alone. We do very little of that. So those are the three typical things that people see, and it makes them say, well, at least they're doing something. But look at what we do. We go and meet each and every person in the zip code. We find out what it is that's going on in their life, and we link them to people who can help with that. What this does, this stabilizes the zip code. This stabilizes the neighborhood. So while you're out marching, rallying, and doing prayer vigils, which is all emotional and visual, make you feel good, we're helping people in their daily lives to connect the dots, to keep that mother who has a single mom with a 17-year-old son who's getting ready to drop out, to keep him from dropping out because we link him with a guy who want to start his mentoring program. That won't make the news. You won't hear about that, but that's what we do every day. Now that 17-year-old is getting the help, he don't drop out, he don't become the robber of your son. So I explained to him the fallacy is this emotional and visual that black people tend to want to see to make them feel like we're doing something about the violence. The real remedy in our community deals with the structural racism, meaning that we're isolated from each other, and the systemic racism, meaning people behavior toward us that keeps us in a starved position and an exploited position. So what I was explaining to him, he finally got it because I said, did you not make over $10,000 off of our networking, our interactions? He said, yeah, yeah, that was good for me personally. I said, but that's what we do for everybody. When we hear what a person does, we link them to people who need their services, want their services, or can help them with their services. We got retirees, adults, and youth. I said the biggest challenge is that isn't sexy what we do. It doesn't call you to have the media come out. So unless you know how to appreciate that, you will gloss over it. And this is by far much more impactful and stabilize the community more so than what you thought was really anti-violence. So I said all that to give you guys a real life example so you can have that. I call it parallel anti-violence work. Parallel. Perpendicular is when it intersects. Parallel is when it runs alongside. So whenever we're talking about making neighborhoods safer, please know most of the time the people in the neighborhood know who's doing what. They know who the troubled people are. Sometimes neighbors don't know each other. The key with all of this is the whole fabric of that neighborhood. How do we interwove the fabric so that everyone is connected? And here's the thing: if we have some people who shouldn't be inside the fabric, there's ways, and again, with our infrastructure, you can have someone all the way out here in Georgia call into the police up there to turn in somebody we know is doing dirt. You don't have no exposure at all because this came from 600 miles away. But this is the power of a network. This is the power of being connected, that you can do things of that nature. And I just wanted to make sure that people knew with parallel organizing, with parallel anti-violence work, the challenge is whoever's doing the work, if they're not mentally grounded, they would think they wasting their time. When we took the children, the teenagers to different cities every third Saturday, to the teenagers, it was just a fun trip that they knew they had to hand out some flyers on. But what we was doing was parallel organizing. So while they was out there handing out flyers, what we was doing was building credibility by being in that town, put money into their economy, and making sure we document it so we can later use this as we work in that city. And they say, well, where y'all pop up from? Where y'all just come from? No, look, we've been here 10 years now. Every year we've been coming here doing this work. So what I'm saying to you is it's more that meets the eye with a lot of the stuff we do. When we call you every once a month, it's to make sure your phone's still on. It's to make sure you're still alive. It's to make sure that the house didn't burn down. It's to check up on you. And this is important because now when a person calls and say they need something, we got the latest update because every 30 days we stay in communication with our people. We do this for 4,000 blocks in Chicago. Really 1,600, but it's 4,000 is the bandwidth of what we have in Chicago. So I hope this helps. I hope this gives people a little bit more perspective on what it's really going to take to make neighborhoods interwoven together where they're more coordinated. We don't drink the Kool-Aid that everyone had to physically be together to be united. That's not it. It's being connected, knowing that whatever you need is in your community, and you can have access to it with a phone call, with a text. That's what we're building. And I thank you guys for being a part of that. I thank you guys for putting the money up for us to be able to do this. Without the money, we don't do none of this because we don't go after the grant money for anti-violence work, because the real solution is the people. So when you have a person getting $30,000 in grant money for anti-violence work, but they don't know the community, so now they got to come to us and ask us for our list of block leaders so that they can then convince them on stopping the violence. On our end, we've built our own internal financing up to $30,000 with people, so we don't have to go and tell the people, convince the people they're a part of it. That's why they loan us the money. That's why they donate the money, because they are part of it. So our marketing dollars have to be significantly less because we already have access to the people. We have access to the seniors. We have access to the construction people. We have access to the religious people. We have access to the students. We have access to the younger people. So we don't have to do all that they're doing by going out getting these grants and don't have a relationship with the people. All right, so keep donating. www.nationalblockclubuniversity.com. 312-405-8844 is the number. 312-405-8844 is the number. We're about $800 away from doing better than all of last year, this year in donations. So come on board. Stay strong. Peace.